Patchwork. Then take your cutter and you want to go right over top. I'm going to put some powder on here before we do that so that I can make sure my cutter's not sticking. I need a little bit more paste down this way. There we go. Got it. Then I need to push this real hard. This one you really got to push so that I get the nice imprints in my paste. And I kind of just push it down and rub it into the paste a bit so that I can make sure it gets a good imprint covering the paste. And then I'll pull this edge ever so carefully away from the paste. And hopefully that one area that wants to stick here in the corner, I'll push that down. Oh, perfect. That helps to use the brush just to push that down as I go. I'll add one piece come up. And as you can see, that gives you a really nice quilted, like a baby blanket, or you could use it on the side of a cake. I've used this quite a bit, just along the side of a cake, just to make imprintations all the way around it. So I like to do that, and then I will trim off the excess with a knife so that it looks more finished. I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to roll out some yellow paste next because I want to add some yellow to these squares that are on here. And that's all we're going to be doing, is just cutting out different squares in different colors. Now, you can set this out ahead of time, and you could do an actual initial. You know, if you mark your different squares out, just use a like a sample piece of fondant. And what I do is cut it out, and then I take and mark my letters. I just use X's to mark out how my initial needs to be cut out for this. And then I use that kind of like a template. And then I cut the real one out like this and just mark the, change the color squares to create an initial on the middle of the blanket. And it turns out really cool. Okay, let's get another piece rolled out here. And you want this kind of thin like we did before, because you're going to build the 3D on top of our base there. So you don't want it to be too thick when you're laying those pieces on top. Okay, I think that'll work. It's still kind of thick, but we're not going to worry about it. And then, of course, just, use your cutter to push into the paste again. And this one I really want to push in because I want to get those squares cut all the way down as far as I can. And I forgot to put my powder on. So, of course, I'm really stuck. Use my brush again to push that down. And this one, it really doesn't matter how this one turns out because we're not using the whole thing. Let's say I want to do a yellow square right in the middle using 4 of these squares to make up one. So I'm going to use my knife to cut out 4 of these. And just use your knife to get in there and just cut them out right along the edges. Pull it away from there. And as you can see, you've got your square. And I like to square it up with my fingers before I put that into place on our blanket. And then you would use water in this case if you're using a large piece like this. So we'll go ahead and do that. We'll put a little bit of water right here in the center. Turn that up so you can see that better. And then just pop those right down where you want those to go. And just make sure they're in the right place. Make sure they're not hanging over in the lined area, because when you go to add your other ones, they'll all be out of line if you do that. Got one piece on, and you just keep building with your colors. Let's go ahead and do a pink. Now we can do more yellow. I'm going to set the yellow aside because we're going to use some more of that here in just a moment. But I want to do the pink next. Yellow, pink, and white. You don't want to leave the white here. I would cut out more white to build it up so it's more of a 3D look. And I'll show that to you here in a minute. Alright, we're going to cut out some pink. Okay, worked out alright anyway. And what you're going to do is get your knife and cut out your square section again. So we'll just go right here in the center. Cut that right out. Pull the paste away. I've got one little piece there I need to trim off. Okay. And I'm going to get my water and add it to my board area where I'm going to put that pink piece, and then just pop that right into place. Like so. And just make sure you push it right up against the side of your yellow piece so that it looks nice and finished. And then just push those down. Double check your sides and make sure they're not hanging over too far, like I said. And let's do a white one next so I can show you what I mean. Pull your paste away. Where's my brush? There it is. A little bit of water. And I'm going to just put this right here beside the yellow. And like I said, you just use the white and go right over top of it, because we want that to be more of a 3D look. And if you leave a white right beside it, it's going to be, this is going to be raised too high here, and it'll look really weird. So it's best to go ahead and cut out the white.